What if the key to learning wasn't about finding the perfect teacher, but about learning to see the teacher in, well, everything? Today, we're diving into a principle that connects something as modern as a Geiger counter with an ancient sage, and in doing so, uncovers a pretty universal truth about how we find knowledge.
I know, it sounds like the beginning of a really weird joke, right? But believe it or not, the answer reveals something powerful about how we learn. And to figure it out, we're going to try an ancient method. We'll treat our sources like our personal guides.
So our journey kicks off with this incredible figure from an ancient text called the Uddhava Gita. He's a wandering sage, the Avadhuta, and when someone asked him, "Hey, how did you get so wise?" he made a pretty wild claim. He told them he had 24 gurus.
Now here's the twist. His teachers weren't people, not a single one. They were things like the earth, the sky, animals, even just everyday situations. So for this explainer, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to adopt his method and find our own gurus in our sources to see what they have to teach us.
All right, our first guru is the physical universe itself, and it speaks to us in the language of science. Its first lesson is all about a force that's completely invisible but is all around us.
And that force is called ionizing radiation. Now, just to be super clear, we're not talking about the stuff from your Wi-Fi or your microwave. No, this is the high-energy stuff. Particles so powerful they can literally rip electrons clean off of atoms. It's this hidden reality that has very, very real consequences.
But how do you perceive something you can't see, hear, or feel? You need a special tool, right? For ionizing radiation, that tool is the Geiger counter. You can think of it like an extra sense. It translates the silent, invisible decay of atoms into a sound we can actually hear, which lets us focus on this one specific, unseen phenomenon.
And to really get what's at stake here, just look at this number, 1,500 microsieverts per hour. That was the reading taken in the basement of the Chernobyl hospital, right where they left the firefighters' clothing. Now, for perspective, an average person gets about 2,000 microsieverts in an entire year. You'd get that dose in less than 2 hours in that room. Suddenly, the Geiger counter makes an invisible threat feel very, very real.
And the lessons from this guru, they are persistent. I mean, get this. Years and years after her death, the doorknob to Marie Curie's office is still radioactive. Her chair still gives off alpha particles. It's like a physical memory, just sitting there, reminding us that some actions have lasting, measurable effects. This guru teaches us about pure, unyielding cause and effect.
Okay, let's switch gears and move to our second guru. We're shifting from the world of atoms and measurement to the world of ancient texts and, the inner experience.
Now, the main method for learning from this guru is something called Bhakti Yoga, and its tools aren't Geiger counters. They're practices, things like hearing, chanting, and really deep remembrance. It's a process of tuning your consciousness, not an external device, to perceive a completely different kind of reality.
This quote gives you a really good sense of the perspective this path is aiming for. I mean, think about it. To our eyes, it looks like the sun rises and sets every single day. But we all know that's not what's really happening. The sun is constant. It's just our limited point of view. Well, this analogy is pointing to a reality that's beyond our normal material senses, one you can only grasp through a shift in consciousness.
So, here's the crucial point. We've got two very distinct ways of looking for truth. One depends on external tools to measure the physical world. The other depends on internal practices to experience a transcendental one. They seem like polar opposites, don't they?
But what if they're not opposite at all? Our ancient sage actually found a principle that connects both of these worlds, and he learned it from a teacher you would absolutely never expect. So the story goes, the sage was visiting a home, and a young girl was in the kitchen preparing food for him. And it's in this totally simple, everyday moment that he has this profound realization.
As this girl was working, the stack of bangles on her wrists were clattering against each other, making a whole lot of noise. It was pretty distracting. So, to fix it, she just starts taking them off, one by one by one, until finally there's just a single bangle left. And with that, silence. And in that moment, the sage got it. When there are many things together, there's conflict. True clarity comes when that conflict is gone.
Now, it's easy to take that literally, right? To think, okay, so being alone is better than being with people. But that kind of misses the real wisdom here. What is this story actually trying to teach us?
It's a lesson about the power of singular focus. That clattering noise from all the bangles,
That's a distracted mind. It's a scientific instrument picking up a bunch of interference. But that one single bangle? That's a focused mind. It's a Geiger counter tuned only to ionizing radiation. It's a consciousness tuned only to hearing and remembering, blocking out all the other noise. That focus, that's the key to everything.
So this one single principle, focus, it's the bridge between our two very different gurus. So let's take a look at how this can help us find wisdom in our own lives.
When you lay it out like this, the connection is it's undeniable. Science uses focused measurement to discover truths about the physical world. The spiritual path uses focused remembrance to connect with an inner reality. The tools are different, the subjects are different, but that core requirement, it's identical, unwavering, singular focus.
And this is exactly what allowed the sage to learn from everything around him. He'd look at the earth, focus on how it bears every burden, and learn tolerance. He'd watch the sun give its light to everyone without judgment, and learn detachment. He'd observe the moon's changing phases, see that it was still the moon, and understand that the self is constant even when the body changes. Each and every lesson required him to focus on a single quality of a single teacher.
So the ultimate takeaway here is that knowledge is literally everywhere. It's in the invisible forces of the universe, and it's in the simple clatter of bangles on someone's wrist. The real key isn't about finding the right teachers, it's about developing the focus to actually hear the lessons that each one has to offer. And that leaves me with just one last question for you. What's the most unexpected teacher you've ever had?